and welcome to this week's Thrive Programme podcast. Today I'm joined by one of our coaches, Sue Tetley, over in Sudbury, and this week's topic is menopause, perimenopause, menopause, this stage of life. And I know probably people are looking at us thinking, you're not that old, Luce, look, Sue. Unfortunately, it's inevitable, isn't it? So, hello, Sue, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, it's certainly my lived experience at the moment, the perimenopause, and yeah, it does creep up on you. And I'm 48 now, so I just thought this was a really good podcast to do, and I think so many women will be able to relate to this. And it's a time of life, isn't it, when you've often got kids going through puberty, you've got a full-on job, you may have parents that are getting older as well, and you're that in-between generation, and you're just busy juggling life, and sometimes you might really miss like these little things that creep up, and yeah, and then you start getting more and more. So I think it's really just talking about how you can empower yourself and do something about it.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, obviously there are changes. All your levels of hormones are diminishing in the perimenopause, but we aren't just a bunch of hormones. We can do things ourselves. We can learn to think in a more healthy way. That's not really negative.
Yeah. I don't know about you, Sue, but I don't remember, and it might not be that I wasn't told or it was talked about, but I don't remember as a kid understanding anything that my mum or aunts or friends or anything were going through. But also, I think, I'm sure every generation has a bit of a moan about the state of affairs that they're having to deal with, but I don't remember knowing about it then. But equally, I think we've got all the stuff on social media that wouldn't have been then. So in a way, it's helpful because we've got far more information nowadays. But equally, that can be a bit disabling because where the hell do you turn? Like what can you trust? What's helpful? What's not helpful? So that in itself can be a bit tricky.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think thinking about my mum, I remember her, that I think it was a bit of a scare 20 years ago, and she's like, oh, I can't take HRT, and she was going around trying to find things with estrogen in and things, but it was very much, you don't talk about it, this is embarrassing, suffer in silence. It was just this unspoken struggle that women had. And I think the tide is turning. There is loads more information, but again, it's kind of whittling down, like, what is the good information, where is the evidence, where's the research, because there's so much, isn't there? So you just look at Instagram, I think all my algorithms are all kind of towards that, and it's like, are you talking, is this based on evidence, or is this kind of what you're saying? And also the stereotypes in Western culture, really, that actually it's kind of youth, and just this whole perception that you get to a certain age and you just like, why are you here? You can't, if you can't have kids anymore, washed up, what's the purpose? Just, I don't want to get old and haggity, and it's just like a really unhelpful perception, which doesn't exist in some Eastern cultures. But yeah, we've got like nearly half our life to live. So we really just need to think about, okay, it's a reset, it's a different stage of life. How can we think about this in a more helpful way and exciting opportunity? And yes, we might struggle with, some people have quite severe symptoms, some people don't, but how can we manage it? How can we move on?
Yeah. Because obviously, I speak for myself. I'm not medically trained. I know you used to be an oncology nurse, so you have probably far more of a medical understanding about stuff than I do. But we are far more talking on this podcast about the thinking element, the sense of power element, the self-esteem element, the stuff that there's loads of things we can't control. We can't control your hormone levels. I mean, you can influence it with HRT and different things, and that's definitely worth looking at. But we're far more interested in, like you say, challenging, or at least being aware of some of the cultural norms that we're used to in our location, and that not everybody thinks in that same way. So I've looked at some of the research around how menopause is portrayed in different countries, and there's some countries that see it as more negative, and there's other places, like you said, over in the Western world. So certainly in China, Chinese women consider the menopause as rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
So their translation or their word for it is very much like, this is when a woman's, saving energy that was previously lost due to fertility and childbirth. And because of their positive attitude to the menopause, they've got the lowest amount of drugs used for treating menopausal symptoms. Mayan culture, it's positive. So how much, if we were going through this, if we were born over there,
Mm-hmm.
would we have, how much would we
Yeah,
have different symptoms? How much would we have different beliefs, different thinking, different, surrounded by different ways of thinking about this stage of a woman's life?
exactly. And I think it's so powerful, isn't it? That whole mind body connection, and what we tell ourselves, like, you're going to feel like this, you're going to feel like that, and you keep, if people keep looking at social media and like, oh, you're going to feel terrible, that you're going to have this and this, and it does have a real negative impact on your beliefs. And we know that you keep thinking stuff, and then it does turn into a belief, and yeah, and that's a story that is kind of passed on from generations in the Western society, and it is trying to, things are changing, but it's not quite there yet. And the great thing is people are having conversations about it. I can't imagine people would have done this 20-30 years ago, and being so open. So yeah, I do think there's so much we can do, and those stress levels, that could be more, with diminished hormones, but actually you can, it's not automatic. You can control how you're thinking and manage your thinking, and sometimes, some parts of the month, you feel amazing and everything's easy, and other times it's not, but you know that actually I just need to manage my thinking and be kind to myself, and I can cope, and I can deal with this.
Yeah, all stuff we teach in the Thrive program. So on the back of that, then I guess tip number one, if we are helping women and maybe men who want to understand their women in their lives a bit better, but helping people to feel empowered through this stage of their life. Tip number one would be, appreciate the information that you are surrounded by, and that different countries, maybe different cultures, see things in a slightly different way. So you don't have to just believe the stuff that you see on social media, or the way that your friends are going through it, or even what medical professionals believe, because we're all trained to think in a certain way, in
Yeah.
certain countries, for example. So on the back of that, then, what's your attitude? What's your, because you're in England, you have access to probably the same as, me and my friends. Have you thought about what your mindset is for this stage of your life?
I I think I'm very much a sort of stubborn determination of, no, I'm feeling it, but it's not going to stop me. It's not going to stop me doing anything. I might be slower, I might be this, that, but actually, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't do that you couldn't do before.
Yeah.
So embrace it. And this time of life, actually, people are starting to, their kids are a bit older. They have you've got more capacity to do things. some people might have more disposable income, they might not, but there's more opportunities. So think about the opportunities that you could do, and also you're wiser. You know stuff that actually in your 20s and your 20s 30s, I wish I'd known that then. So I'm putting life into perspective. It's like what's important to me in my life, and trying to find some time for you, forging time for yourself, and at this stage, I kind of know. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I know time is precious. So what do I want to do? So yeah, and just thinking, instead of putting stuff off, like, well, I'll go and try this. I'll go and try that. Why? Yeah, why not? So it is definitely just thinking about it in a different way. It might be the end of this bit, but it's exciting. So think about it in a, what can you do?
Yeah.
Not what can't you do? And rather than this perception, this traditional Western perception of, it's going to be awful, it's going to be terrible, I just need to survive it. And you can't just survive life. You just, it's, we can do better than that. We can actually make it more like a defining time, and actually make things better than they were ever before, with greater self-awareness and just just having that, I know what I want in life.
And I think as age, I think generally people tend to worry less about what other people think the older they get, because again, you've been through school and when that was really important to fit in and stuff, but by the time you've lived a couple of extra decades, you're kind of realizing, well, that's not helpful, or actually it doesn't really matter. So I think you're right. It's an opportunity, isn't it? Because you are, well, as in the Mayan culture here, you're wise, you're more self-aware, you're at that stage of your life where you are more powerful, more in control. So it's a good opportunity to harness those things.
Yeah, and not sort of sweating the small stuff, the stuff that you were really bothered about. I mean, I know, I was sort of brought up with the social media, but getting to that point where you really don't care what you look like. You don't care whether you're wearing makeup or not. You don't care what other people think. Whereas maybe when you're younger, I mean, I was really bothered. Wearing makeup. Oh, I keep taking my glasses off. I was really self-conscious. And it's like, I don't really care now. And if somebody doesn't like me or want to spend time with me, well, that's whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just you understand yourself more. Definitely.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so taking a positive, or choosing, empowering yourself with the choice about the perspective you take on it and the meaning you attribute to this stage of your life. That's pretty cool.
I think it's, and I think that's that's so important. And I think if you are struggling, it's like, well, what can you do about it? What can I do about it? Rather than sitting back and just going, oh well, never mind, it's just my age. It's like, no, you don't have to put up with this. What can you do about it? So that whole empowering yourself, researching, reading up on stuff, exercise, what can you eat? Is HRT an option? Go and talk to a medical professional and do your research. Ask your friends, who is the go-to person? Who do I need to see? But it's like informed choice. Like, what are all the things I can do to help myself in my life? And it's about being your own advocate.
Yeah. Being
Definitely.
the captain of your own ship. And I think that's really important, because we were having a tinsy pre-chat, weren't we? And you said about one of your friends went to an appointment and came away with antidepressants. So again, if you're going into that appointment informed and with an understanding and a bit of an idea about what the options are, you're in the driving seat. There's people out there with opinions and training and different things, but that doesn't mean that's the only option. You're the captain of your ship. You're the person that's in control of your life, and you're the one that gets to say, yeah, I agree with that, or actually, do you know what, I don't want to go down that route. Let me go and find someone else.
Yeah. Don't know what happened there. Yeah, exactly. And also, like, just because they've got a medical degree doesn't mean they know everything. They might not be experts in the menopause and the perimenopause. So if you're not happy with what they say, get another opinion. And I think we are getting better at actually doing that, and not maybe grandparents' generation. Yes, the doctor's always right. Yes, very subservient, obedient. They've got a white coat on. I'm going to do whatever. It's like, actually, no, I know my own body. I'm not happy with what you said, and being confident enough to go, okay, no, I've got these symptoms, or going, okay, well, I'm just going to go and find somebody else, else as well.
I think that the hard thing with the symptoms is, it could be anything. Like the list, depends on what you look
It's
at.
crazy, yeah.
Some of the websites I've looked at, or some of the Instagram accounts that you follow, and you look at them and you think, well, that,
Yeah.
I mean, they're so broad. Again, it's like, how much of that is actually hormones, and how much of that might just be that stage of life, or crappy diet at the moment, or overworked, or stressed about kids at the moment. And again, there's no, clear-cut answer.
Yeah.
But you
exactly.
can empower
it's really
yourself
hard.
with that knowledge, can't you?
Knowledge. Yeah, you can. And I think it's just a process of, like, if you don't feel great, do something, change your diet, think about what's healthy, and that whole kind of, like, hierarchy of needs, a Maslow idea, like get your basics right, are you having enough sleep, things like that, what things in your environment, it's just all these basic things like healthy food, sleep, all impact on your mental well-being. And I know it's some people have symptoms where they struggle with the sleep, but just it's I think it's taking a holistic approach. It's not just the hormones, it's all these aspects of your life. Think about it, that you can make changes if you're not feeling great. And just having time for you. I've just started doing yoga, which I really like. I haven't really done any triathlons in the past few years, but I'm enjoying doing other things and still kind of keeping fit, but going, actually, well, I'm not that interested in that at the moment. I'm going to do other things, and just exploring,
Nice.
what you want to do.
So I guess another tip, when you're thinking, so you've got the sort of cultural, social, your perspective and your choices around how you see this stage of your life, and you've got then owning what you're doing about it, so taking responsibility for the parts of your life that you can influence, getting the right advice, but within the parameters of what you know yourself the best, and making sure you're happy with the advice that you're being given. What about getting yourself thriving? So having generally helpful beliefs, strong foundations, feeling, or at least understanding emotions and memories and mood and stuff like that, because I would imagine a lot of the symptoms that somebody can have that does get put in the box of the menopause actually is really partially they're not thriving.
I think there is research out there that those who are struggling and seeking the antidepressants are those that struggle before to manage their thinking, but everything might have got a bit worse. But so if you can get to this stage of life and thriving, you've got that whole toolbox, haven't you, to deal with it, and to have that self-awareness, self-insight. Yeah, definitely. I think it's what can you control, what can't you control. You can't control this is happening. You absolutely can control how you think about it, and how you navigate it, and what you can do to help yourself, rather than just, like I said before, that kind of learned helplessness and going, okay, this is happening to me, what's the point, can't do anything about it, and then, which is really powerless and isn't gonna help you.
Yeah. And I think when you say managing your thinking about it and you get to choose your thoughts and stuff like that, I think that before I'd done the Thrive program, I would have listened to that and thought I knew what that meant. But actually, the way that I often describe it with clients is, well, certainly the old me would have been, what's happening is 95% and I might 5% manage my thoughts about it or my perspective. Mm-hmm. But really, we're talking about flipping that round. So the menopause might be 5%, 10% for some people, depends a little bit on the genuine impact. But, you've got a massive chunk of your experience of the menopause is down to how you think and how you feel and how you react and how you behave about it, the perspective that you take, the words that you choose, the language that you choose, the articles that you choose to read, the people that you have around you that collude or don't collude. That's it's huge, that part of things.
It is huge. Yeah, I think that the language, it's trying to get away from that kind of negative and medicalizing everything, and just learning those skills to turn it around. Is that helpful? Is that adding anything to my life, or can I choose some other words? And and obviously talk to people, get support, but it's finding the right kind of groups, because there's so much out there, and you could end up just feeling so much worse. Like, how is your day? Oh, it's terrible, it's awful, and you tell everybody, and then it just makes you feel so much worse. I go to, well, I did a talk at a group, and I have been, and it's fantastic, and it is really empowering, and it's like, right, okay, how can you help yourself? Have loads of experts in, and let's just kind of make this a great opportunity to do things differently, learn new skills. But equally, there could be groups out there where it's not so empowering, and people just, they're just talking about everything that's wrong. So yeah, it's just being aware of that.
Yes, yeah.
Which so you might not, and you just go down a rabbit hole, and you don't know until you're in there.
Yeah, yeah. So following accounts or listening or choosing experts that sound like the kind of vibe that you will thrive more on, rather than the ones that might suck your energy a bit more and collude with how awful it can be. But, choosing experts that know their stuff, but also do it in a thrivey kind of a way.
Yeah, exactly. Because language, so we know, like, language and thought, it's completely connected, isn't it? It's how we talk to ourselves in our heads, and what we say out loud is, massively, it just impacts everything. And so telling yourself, each day, what am I going to do today? What kind of day? Okay, right. This is, I'm struggling a bit, but actually I can do this, and I'm just going to be kind, and we're going to take one step at a time. Some days you'll be like, right, what am I going to do? But just being aware and using that positive language, and having goals, making plans, rather than just letting just things just happening,
Yeah.
and you're running around and getting stressed, and just listening to your body, being kind to yourself, and just, you don't have to be all perfectionist about, I have to do this, I have to do that, I should be doing this, I should be being amazing at work, blah blah blah. It's like, it's fine. It's fine to not feel great. And I think that's what I tell my clients. It's like, thriving is not about feeling happy every day. You can't. It's just, and skipping down the road like some cheesy movie. it's knowing that you can do something about it yourself. That you are, the captain of your own mind, and you have a choice. You have a choice in how you're thinking about stuff, and and sometimes it's just knowing you can cope if you can't feel really super happy about something, and then really process that in a like, wow, I did this. I was feeling a bit anxious, but I did it, and then that gives you more confidence moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's what we teach, isn't it, in the
Yeah.
Thrive program, around, waking up in the morning and setting a bit of a plan for your day, setting yourself an intention. So then you would know in the morning if you're maybe feeling quite energetic and lively and quite thinking you can kind of have quite a productive day, and there might be other times where you're not feeling so sprightly, and maybe those are the days that you might lower your expectations a little bit and go a bit slower and do your yoga or do something rather than going for a long run.
Mm.
And again, there's no higher power. It's almost like we do things, don't we, because we feel we should, but where does that should come from? And what happens if we don't? And most of us grow up with some element of threat, if you like, about not being super productive or not being happy all the time or not having all of our shit together, when it's actually, it's almost the stage of life where you can embrace being congratulations, you're a human being with emotions and hormones and moods and things like that. But that doesn't mean you don't have any power over those things.
Mm.
It means you've got control over how you respond to those things and how you're going to do your day anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think it's just, you do get that perspective, and like, what's important, and that whole must and shoulds. Yeah, it's just it's such an ingrained habit, isn't it? That lots. Yeah, I do it. I do it sometimes. I think, like, why do I? Do I really? Do I really? No. Like, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. But just, I was having a conversation the other day with my husband. It's like, right, okay, just do 3 things. Just get 3 things done. Like, just 3. That if you're not feeling okay, I've done it. Great. Just small, just the small things.
Yeah.
I do like a tick. I do like a tick list. It's like we tell the processing the positives, but you can get them at. It's just the mundane little things in life, isn't it? That you do anyway. But give yourself, like, come on, give yourself a bit of credit. Don't have to go all like, whoa, I'm so amazing. It's just
And some of the tick list stuff isn't necessarily about stuff you do, but sometimes just effort you put in, or managing your think. If you're a bit not very sprightly today, and your goal is just to have a bit of a slower day and be a bit nicer to yourself, then that's a tick. So they don't all have to be things to do or productivity or stuff off my to-do list or things for other people. Actually make them about you and your thinking and your mindset and the way that you treat yourself today.
That you didn't, you might not feel great, but actually you've done stuff for you. You've done things that make you feel good, and actually you're feeling better because of what you've done. I like just things like going for walks and stuff. I mean, it's amazing just the power of just getting out the house, getting just going outside in the countryside, just going for a walk, things like that. Just green spaces. Yeah, clear your head. Yeah.
But even that, I think a lot of people don't recognise or don't take the time to process.
No, that's a good. Yeah, yeah. No, they don't, and I think we just kind of, yeah, it's so like rushing rounds.
Busy stage
Busy,
of life,
busy,
isn't
busy,
it?
busy, busy, rather than like the slowing down and thinking, why am I so, yeah, busy but not
Frazzled. Yeah.
frazzled busy?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
give yourself permission today to make a cup of tea and just drink a cup of tea.
And the world is not going to end if you don't do this thing now.
Or do your shopping at the same time, or make your shopping list at the same, like, just, I think that it's, yeah, life is busy, and kids and parents and work and everything else, there's always things that need to be done. But I think that's, again, that has like anything to do with the menopause, or is that just stage of, and those are the things you can start, those are the things you
Yeah.
can control. So having a cup of tea and just having a cup of tea, getting outside every day, even if it's for 10 minutes, and just being outside and not just being present. And anytime your mind wanders, oh, I've got to do this in a minute, I need to remember that PE kit. Go,
Yeah.
no, nothing's going to happen. Sort that
No,
later.
exactly. Just getting out and leave your phone at home. I say, leave your phone. Just notice what's around. Like notice what's around you. Enjoy that. You don't need it. Don't need it. So
Yeah.
that, I think that's helped. That's helped me. But yeah, as you say, this is not necessarily about the menopause or anything, but it's just general tips to kind of help you, whatever age you are, feel good about yourself, rather than that a must, a should. But I think at our age, we just seem to get busier. It's like there's a lot of sort of people relying on you, your kids and family and jobs and stuff. So whereas in your 20s, and if you had less responsibilities, it's kind of easier, but we tend to put ourselves last.
Yeah.
And you're always like, the kids, make sure they're okay, make sure this person, and you forget about yourself. But actually, you can't help them if you're if you're really kind of struggling. So it's not being selfish. It's actually, I need this for me so that I can be there. And it's important because they pick up on stuff, and they pick up on moods and how you are, and if you're calm and and feeling good, then everything's easier.
Yeah, the house runs easier, doesn't it? For sure. So what would be your top tips? How do we want to leave, if people are listening to this and they're thinking, all right, I've got a few good little snippets here, what do you want them to know? What do you want them to hear?
I think just knowing that you can absolutely help yourself, and you can do anything you want. It's not, it's a word, isn't it? It's a phase. So use that to kind of enable you, and to just rethink about what your priorities in life. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What can you do? Not, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. So it's just thinking about things in a different way, and embracing it. You can't do anything about it, so enjoy.
There's a lot you can't control, but there is a fair
Bit you
thing
can.
you can, and certainly perspective and mindset and thinking and kindness to yourself and priorities and taking the stress off and all that kind of stuff. you can do.
Yeah. And almost like, you could almost, write down what can I control? Write it down. What things can I do? What things can I make helpful changes to? Maybe you could eat slightly different foods, eat healthier. Maybe you could go for a walk more, or just think, actually, I never do anything for me. What do I really like to do? And just finding that time where your default is, I'm too busy, I can't do this, but actually just finding time for doing something for you. So being kind, and just not accepting, if you don't feel great, go and get some help. Empower yourself, research.
Yeah, you're in charge. You're the boss.
Yep.
Fab. Thanks, Sue. A very hopefully inspiring and helpful chat there to give people just some ideas to things they can do to make it not the worst time of your life. Quite the opposite. It doesn't have to be. Let's not believe everything that we hear and everything that we read and all the symptoms that are possible. Let's do our own thing, do our own journey, take responsibility, and it's up to us how we experience this phase of our life.